Good evening. I'm Carrie V. Dean with another segment of Am I Angry, Confused, or Stupid? I just heard some of the most stupidest things I haven't heard in years. Rich or entitled, self entitled people talking about leaving the U.S. and the best places for blacks to go to leave the U.S. from both sides of the aisle. So when one's waging a war, Democrats better than Republicans? No. Republicans better than Democrats? No. It's a mixed bag, as it always has been. But we all know, out of the majority, only the minority rules. And there you have it, folks. So now the little minority cliques from both sides of the aisle are getting together trying to discuss what black people's options are in America to avoid total loss of rights yet again in this country, as if we really had any rights to begin with. Um, People say, well, you're free speaking, so don't say you didn't have any rights because you're free speaking and you're speaking ill about the current administration and you're you're speaking ill about politicians in general. So and you're not in jail, so don't talk to us about you not having any rights. Well, wow. I would be doing this whether you put me in jail or not. You can't silence the truth. The truth is, we did not bring ourselves to America as far as some of our ancestors went. We didn't come willingly to America as far as our ancestors went. But I'm about 6 generations removed from the ancestors that came here and laid the foundation for what Black Americans have accomplished in this land. Yes, because it wasn't from white labor that America was built. Got to remember that. It's always been other races that they thought lesser of that came up with the great ideas to build America. The guys that claimed themselves the masters over the lesser thans just sat back like fat cats. Yeah, remember the Roaring Twenties? Oh, yeah. They were riding high off of the labor of their lesser thans. Oh, yeah, living it up. All over the world, living it up. But then our Congress got greedy, started trying to leverage tariffs on products. Right around World War One was starting up and heating up. America didn't have too much to do with World War One, but come World War Two, ah, and us trying to fight our way back from recession, that was caused at the end of the 20s and going into the 30s, the major crash of the stocks, because America was so young, no one trusted in the American dollar or the strength of the American dollar. Remember that? No, you don't. Otherwise, you would have never voted for Donald Trump because he was saying tariffs. Tariffs will make America great again. For you idiots that didn't know what tariffs were and didn't know how tariffs work, thank you. You can't sit back and cry now because you voted the man into office. You voted for the man that stood right up there and told you what he was going to do. Told you how he was going to crash the market on purpose so that he can gain control of it. And right now, he's in total control of the market. And that's why the market is crashing. Because he wants to show he has total dominance. He has to get the billionaires in line to his agenda and pay fealty to him, not him kissing their ass to chase after their money. How did you think he was going to do it? Ooh, start crashing where they can't pay their employees 401ks and stuff off. Guess what happens? Oh, now the billionaires realize we made a mistake. We backed the wrong person. Of course you did. And guess why? It's this little thing in America we like to do called the hatred card. And that's exactly what the Republicans run on every time they win, is how much hatred does America has for itself in its nasty little history that we want to keep swept under the rug. It's just how bad it was. You know, everyone talks about what happened with the Jews, but no one talks about what happened to a lot of the original blacks that were brought into this country. We don't hear their stories. Hell, most of us, myself included, don't even know where these people are buried. Or how many. At one time were killed. They'll tell you about a pocket of 300 to 400 here or there, but what they don't tell you is the total number of blacks that were killed just from trying to escape and be free men again, like they were in their original country that they were taken from. No, you don't hear the statistics of that. Wonder why. For all you people out there crying, well, my ancestors, I have nothing to do with what my ancestors did. Well, whatever happened between your ancestors and my ancestors back then should not be guiding policy in today's politics, but yet it is. So let's not get it twisted. The only people truly pushing the race card agenda and and bringing out all this hatred towards blacks, towards anybody that's not white, it's a itty bitty minority of rich men that are scared to lose their status or scared to face the very public they swore in when they went into the Oval Office to protect. They've been stealing from all these years. Doesn't matter whether they're Democratic or Republican. Crooks, You cannot be a politician and not be a little cricket, because you have to do a little lying in order to get in office. That's why there are so many campaign promises never completed, never brought up again after the campaign has been won. Think about it. And now you're talking about the blacks should search and investigate those that can afford it and want to leave America into the best places for them to live after you spent 60 years in the making of tearing down the reputation of the blacks. We're talking over 100 years, actually, when you think about it. From day one, you've done nothing but tear down the reputation of the blacks, just like you did for the Indians. If we want to go back to Mayflower days, since that's what you guys like to do, you came over here in good faith and then they acted like savages. No, you came over here, saw there were other people already on the land, you made nice with them just to see if you could conquer them, and then you did. That's what happened. That's the true story. And then you slurred their names, called them savages, kill off their whole families, rape their women in front of them, didn't bother to care that you left a lot of Indian women pregnant with your child. That was her problem from the man's perspective, not yours. Did the same thing with the black slave women. Left a lot of homeless children. And then you want to complain about the homeless rates in America today when you're still doing the same thing. But what do? The same that you do all the time. You project it onto another race. So all other races are dogs and don't take care of their children and don't come from good homes unless they're making 500K or above. They're not coming from good homes. This is just insane. Insane policy is what I call it. Insane policy. Since you want to say Donald Trump has a policy, yes, Donald Trump does have a policy. It's called insanity, fear, and abuse of power because I can. That's Donald Trump's policy. Has nothing to do with helping the American people. He could care less. He had already said in his mind the American people could kiss his rump when we didn't vote him in office for a second term. Okay? He had already said he would get back at the American people. Pretty much like it was written years ago that China would come back to beat us in business. Guess what's happening today? Thanks to Donald Trump making that come true. China is kicking our tails, and they're starting to catch the attention of other world leaders as a potential trade partner where they don't have to worry about unfair tariffs being levied one onto the other. They're seeing America for the lie that it's been all these years. Okay? All Donald Trump did was bring all that corruptness into light. At least the Dems had the courtesy of keeping it swept under the carpet. What Donald Trump calls transparency is just straight up corrupt lies and abuse of power. um, the, so for him to keep pointing and blaming the Democrats aren't in control. And the Democrats haven't really been in control since you took office in 2017. So let's be very clear. The man took an economy that was anyone else's wet dream to go into the office and deal with and changed it into a bloody nightmare. But he wants to blame the Democrats for that. No, Mr. Trump, look in the mirror and look deeply into them crappy color eyes of yours and realize your eyes look crappy because you're full of crap. And that's all you're spewing at the moment is a lot of crap. As you quietly strip away every right American citizens have. Oh, they're not rights, they're privileges. Okay? So, what happens when you take all the joy out of the office? Oh, that's right. It backfires because now your employees aren't motivated to work at their top best. They're just working to keep a roof over their heads. They're just doing just good enough to get through the day so that they don't lose their jobs. What happened to that spark? Oh, you're not giving them any. All you're doing is handing them a paycheck so you can snatch most of it back. That's right. That's what America has been. Peddling in people. Slavery never ended. That's the big lie that's now coming to light. Slavery has never ended. They just found a better way to create more slaves, white men included, as many of you MAGAs are now finding out. And yes, again, if you don't belong to the 500,000,000 heirs club and up, you don't belong. We just use you to get along and to keep the rest of the lesser thans in place. That's right. All you people that are now calling the middle class that are making above 250K and up to 500K, you're the new middle class. That's right. Everyone underneath that number, you're all lower class. So, we've been so spoiled in this country to look to the greener grass that no one's looking at what is happening above them. It's like watching frogs sitting in a pot of boiling water and they will not bother to try to jump out. They just sit there trying to figure out why is it getting so hot in here until they're boiled to death. Same with crabs. Yeah. Same with lobster. Yeah. That's how the American people are being treated now. We're all in the boiling pot, and he's just slowly cranking up the heat. And all the MAGA nuts are saying, "We love you, Donald Trump. We love you. You're going to make us rich again." No, he's not. And if you still don't understand that, you'll never understand anything. Donald Trump is on a total power trip, and the money has him corrupted since childhood. The man never learned true morality. He never learned any of the kind graces the rest of us had to learn by pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps, as they say. So for him to keep saying he's a self-made man, self-made nothing. Your your daddy left you over $460 million. 400. Think about that. He blew through $460 million before he hit his late 30s and had to borrow from the banks again to do all his building around New York, which he defaulted on every loan that he got. Hence the 34 counts of fraud. um, Not to mention him not paying taxes for most of those years on the money that he did make. Also included in those 34 counts of fraud. Okay. Um, Committed acts of treason while he was in the White House the first term. And the hatred in America just wouldn't put him in jail. No, 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 no. We're not going to put him in jail. We need to use him as a puppet. Guess what? A man as ignorant as Donald J. Trump, with access to some of the most powerful people, thinking they can manipulate him. His biggest con was conning all of you to follow him. And he led you right to your own demise because he's taking the stock market on purpose because that controls you and shuts you up from telling him what to do. You still don't want to impeach him? Fine. Go ahead. Don't impeach him. But this time, impeachment, no. He should be jailed immediately. Because this time he's not killing a small handful of people. He's killing people at large scales. That's right. When he gets through, he's going to sell America to the highest bidder. And right now, that's his buddy, Putin. All we can pray for is Putin catches a heart attack and dies soon. And they'd have to elect a new president of Russia. That's right. That's the scale of things, folks. So, as far as black people finding the best place to live, no matter where you go, you're going to have to prove yourself all over again that you're a good person and you're not as bad as the rep that America has tried to show the world through the crooked news view. And the people that bought into the stereotypical hype. Well, that's all that was on my mind. So I think I will go ahead and end this and say good night. And please leave a comment. What do you think? How do you feel? Voice your opinions because no one in Washington is listening to us at this level. That's why I'm doing this. I'm hoping to encourage more people at this level that's under the 250K a year salaries, under the 75K a year salaries, under the 50K a year salaries can have a voice because unfortunately we've become the majority that's being ruled by the minority. Again, good night and have a better tomorrow.